Well, hello and welcome to the Adrienne Ross Show. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you get a special welcome. But all of you, I'm glad you're tuned in. And I want to give a shout out to those who have joined me in membership. We've got the rookie membership, the MVP, the legend, and the GOAT. And I got to give a shout out to Foxter55, who upped her membership. She was at rookie status and then she just shifted up to MVP. So shout out to my MVP, my legends, and my GOATs, of course, rookies as well. But as far as MVP, legend, and GOAT, so far we've got Foxter, Kara, Hardy, Margie, Savage, Susan, Nicosia, Duck, Yuck, Sherry T, ALRR, Tim Harper, Tom McDermott, Lad Gardner, Salvatore James, King's Kid Girl, Summer, Randy Adams, 03, L Boyd, Terry Arnold, Dwayne H, Rhonda Iowa Girl, and Sheila McNeil. Appreciate you all so very much. And then we've got some others, some rookies as well. So right now we're at a total of 33. Thank you. Also, thank you for those who are subscribed to the channel. We are at close to 32,600 or 31,600. Which one is it? It is, yeah, I got ahead of myself. We're at 31.6K plus. All right, so I appreciate you all. Now, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about something I've been asked to talk about. People, for whatever reason, want to know what I think about the Caitlyn Clark, Taylor Swift, Vice President Kamala Harris situation, if you want to call it that. And, you know, there are a lot of people who are really kind of, riled up about the whole thing. A lot of conversation about it. And so I was asked to give my take. So I'm going to give my take. Now, for those of you who may not know what's going on, Taylor Swift put out a post, I believe it was Instagram, on after the day of the night of the debate. I believe it was the same night, but it was after the debate. And Taylor Swift endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president. And Caitlyn Clark liked that post. And so I found out because a friend was just talking about the Taylor Swift post, and she, in passing, she said, Caitlyn Clark also liked it. And so from what I understand, everybody's talking about it. There's all kind of stuff. There are people who are upset about it. It seems to be a big deal to some people. And so they want to know what I think. Little old me, right? What do I think? And so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about it. Are you ready? Here we go. I have heard Caitlyn say more than once that she does not engage in social media, that she's not on social media. So I'm not so sure it was Caitlyn who liked that. I have heard people say that Caitlyn Clark likes everything Taylor Swift puts out there. And I do know that she's a huge fan of Taylor Swift. I had heard that, but I've heard people say, well, Caitlyn, she likes everything Taylor Swift puts out there. I wouldn't know. I don't follow Taylor Swift. I wouldn't know Taylor Swift if I ran into her at the store. I mean, I know who she is, but I'm not tuned into Taylor Swift. Just all the hoopla surrounding her and Kelsey and all that. But other than that, I'm not interested in Taylor Swift. But that's what I hear, that CC likes everything. So putting those two things together, CC says she's not on social media, which leads me to believe that the stuff that she posts on her social media, she's not the one posting it, right? If in fact she's not on social media, and I think I should be able to take her word for what she has said in the past. Now, what does that mean? Well, it may mean that whoever is doing her social media does go about liking all of Taylor Swift's things because Caitlyn Clark is a Taylor Swift fan. So it might be that she just clicked like and just kept it moving because that's generally what they do. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying it could be. So if that were the case, and then Caitlyn were asked about it as she was today, I don't think she's going to say, yeah, the person that I hired to do my social media just liked it. I don't really agree with it, or I wouldn't have done it, or any. She's not going to say that. She's just going to keep it rolling and do what she did. And so there's that possibility that it was just an automatic because that's what they do. The other possibility, of course, is that Caitlyn Clark liked the post herself because she liked the post. So there's that option to think about. If you're going to think about it at all, there's that one. But when asked about it, people are praising her for, well, some are praising her. Most I've seen are praising her for the way she handled it. So let's take a look at how she handled this today. And then we'll come back and I'll kind of tell you some more about where I stand on this overall. Okay, check it out.
Caitlyn, you liked an Instagram post last night from Taylor Swift that got a lot of attention. And I was just curious if you could tell us what that post meant to you, and if you are in fact potentially going to endorse Kamala Harris. Thank you.
I think for myself is, I have this amazing platform, so I think the biggest thing would be just encourage people to register to vote. I think for myself, it's the second time I can vote in an election. At age 22, I could vote when I was 18. So I think do that. That's the biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have. And that's the same thing Taylor did. And I think continue to educate yourself with the candidates that we have, the policies that they're supporting. I think that's the biggest thing you can do. And that's what I would recommend to every single person that has that opportunity in our country.
Scott,
One thing that I really like about what took place there is that she's not caught off guard. She doesn't react to the question at all. Her face is steady. She's not moved by it. I imagine she expected it was going to come. And she wasn't rattled by it at all. She listened to the question. She said, mm-hmm. And then she went about saying, people should educate themselves. I have an amazing platform, and I'm going to use that platform to encourage people to vote. Taylor Swift, she's got a platform. She used her platform. So do your research, register to vote, blah, 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 blah. So she gave no one what they wanted, because understand there are people who wanted her to flat out say, absolutely, I'm going to support Kamala Harris against Donald Trump. Oh my goodness. Yes. I was so glad that I got to put my like there, which a lot of hardcore people on the left will do. They can't stand Donald Trump. They're going to let you know. Okay. Now, I don't know what Caitlyn Clark feels as far as that goes, but she didn't do that. She also didn't say that, she didn't say, bottom line is she didn't take the bait. She didn't get involved in that. Now, some would say she got involved in it because she clicked the like button, And so again, people say, well, what do you think? People know that I'm a conservative. And so how did I feel when it appeared that Caitlyn was behind Kamala Harris, someone I'm personally not behind? Well, I got to be honest, and I have to say that for maybe 5 seconds, I felt a little disappointment. And I'm not saying I had a right to at all. All right. Because who am I? And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But I'm just being honest and transparent with this community. I did, for about 5 seconds, feel a little bit disappointment. I heard someone else say we shouldn't be surprised. She's from Des Moines. It's Democrat and it's makeup, and so no one should be surprised at that. But for whatever reason, I did feel sort of surprised. But that has more to do with me than it has to do with her. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Let me explain. There are people who have come at me hard when they discovered that I'm not with her, meaning Kamala Harris. When I've talked about politics, which I've always done on this show, and then recently started talking more about sports, but new people don't know that. And so when I've waded into politics, because my tagline is A to Z, Adrienne is on it, I have had people who have flipped out. I mean, the messages I've gotten, the comments I've gotten. I got something today on my Substack where my writing is, where people just totally trip out and let you know, I'm done with you. I'm unsubscribing. I translate that to mean I'm taking my toys and going home. It is foolish for any of us to think that someone has to agree with us on everything. That's part of the problem in this country. that if you think for yourself, then, oh my goodness, I'm done. You don't think just like me. You're not going to vote just like me. I'm out of here. I'm cussing you out. I'm not supporting. I'm not going to watch your basketball content anymore. I'm not going to watch your basketball game anymore. We've got all kinds of people who think like that. And that's really kind of, shall I say, sick. Number one, it's childish and immature. And number two, it's just sick. And I use this terminology, and I've made people upset about it because I've said, listen, I'm not on your plantation. You're not my slave. You can't tell me how to think. And you know what? If you see a title, you don't like it, keep it moving, right? And then come for the sports, as many mature people tell me they do. So with Caitlyn Clark, I had to go, man, I did feel a twinge of disappointment because, again, I'm a conservative, right? But then I was like, I shouldn't have the same attitude toward her. Not that I was ever going to take my toys and go home. That wasn't even a thought, but just that little twinge. I had to self-reflect. And I had to say, well, I can't be treating her, even in my mind, in the same way that some people are treating me. People who are upset with me because they want me to think just like them, as if anybody is some kind of robot. Now, I don't agree with certain policies. And I don't know what Caitlyn feels about those policies, because today she didn't take the bait and she didn't say, okay? I still don't even know if she's the one who liked it because she told us she's not on social media. So I really don't know. But if she did, and if she did because she truly supports Vice President Harris, then that's Caitlyn. And it's not for me to be mad at her because I put her in a box and I expected her to function, to move, to think like I do. Now, I think that we connect with people to a certain level when they do share our values and they do share our principles. It makes those relationships even more special. But there's also something to be said for not having everyone think just like you in your circle. Had a man tell me not that long ago, someone who is subscribed to the channel, and I put a political post up, and I had somebody come right off, oh my goodness, I'm leaving. Like they didn't even watch it. I could tell they hadn't even watched the video. But I'm leaving, because they never leave. They got to tell you that they're leaving, and then they leave, right? Or they say they leave. But so this gentleman, he didn't agree with me politically, but he said to me, I really feel like the people who say, I'm just leaving. He said, I really feel like they're missing an opportunity. He said, maybe I'm just naive enough to think that maybe I could change your mind if I engage with you a little bit. But he was like, when you just huff and puff and you get out of there, you miss an opportunity to have respectful discourse. Now, none of us that I know of is going to pick up the phone and have any kind of discourse with Caitlyn Clark. But the point still remains, right? That we're not going to think just like other people, and we shouldn't be putting people in a box. And yep, I did feel a little bit of disappointment. I just have to admit. And again, that says more about me than it says about Caitlyn. I had these certain thoughts and mindsets, and some of us do, that are unrealistic. And then there are other people who saw that she liked it and they got really excited. Why? Because, oh my goodness, she thinks just like I do. She's, not one of those right wingers. And other people are going, oh my goodness, she's a radical leftist, And the bottom line is we don't know. And because Caitlyn in many ways is more mature than many of us. And you know what? The WNBA, they make no mistakes about where they stand. They're far left. They're radical in that. And they would love for Caitlyn to be like, yes, Kamala Harris, orange man bad. I'm not sure that they would really love her, but they would love that this, she's thinking like them, because that's how they kind of flow like that. Like, this, it's not just basketball with them, and they pride themselves on being an activist league. But Caitlyn said, you know what? I have a platform. I use my platform to encourage people to vote. And so maybe she clicked like because Taylor Swift was using her platform for what she believes in. And it's like, you know what? I don't necessarily have to agree with you, but yeah, I agree with that concept of using your platform to encourage people to be active and to vote. So for those who want to know what I think, that's what I think. I think that whatever happened, however that like happened, and even if she's madly in love with Kamala Harris, then you know what? That's Caitlyn Clark. And I still love to watch her play basketball, and I'm still going to be rooting on the Indiana Fever. Now, she's not out there preaching to me and telling me I got to believe in those policies. But if she chose to share her beliefs, I mean, that's the risk she would have to take as far as how that affects. I think some of the wiser people have learned to do what she did, and that is get out there and vote. You do your research and you do what you feel is best, in the same way that Usher just did that on The View. And I only saw the clip because, trust me, I do not watch The View. But I know that there are people from a Christian perspective who said they have a problem if she does support Kamala Harris. And that's because Harris and the people on the left, Democrats, tend to support things that that are the antithesis of some values that devout Christians have. And so someone mentioned that. And it reminded me of an email that I received a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, where someone sent me an email commenting on the video I did about the real reason, the main reason that the WNBA can't stand Caitlyn Clark. And I named a few things that were some reasons, and then I gave the main reason. But this person said to me that he was disappointed in me because I didn't mention her faith, because he felt like her faith was a huge reason why some of this hate is out there for her, or if you want to call it not hate, but if you dislike or whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And so he said he was disappointed and he thought maybe I was kind of afraid to do it because YouTube might get mad at me and all that. And I'm like, you must be new, because ain't nobody who hung around my work, long, my writing, my podcasting, anything, my speaking, nobody thinks I'm scared to, to be up front about my faith. But I told him, I said, I didn't mention that because I've never heard Caitlyn mention that. Yeah, I knew she went to Catholic school. But this is what we have to understand. God doesn't have grandchildren. He only has children. So yes, she went to Catholic school because her parents sent her there. I don't know if Caitlyn Clark herself has ever said, I'm devoting my life to Jesus. I don't know that. Again, because I've never heard her talk about her faith. Maybe you have, I have not. So I'm not going to make assumptions about where she stands with the Lord based on the fact that she went to Catholic school or that her parents are devout. What I have is your testimony, and I have not heard Caitlyn's testimony. So we cannot, again, even with this, say, well, as a Catholic, then, or as a Christian or whatever, then she shouldn't be liking that. I don't know where she stands with the Lord. She hadn't told me, and God don't have grandchildren. So either she has given herself to him or she hasn't. I don't know. But back to the point. The point is, you wanted to know, some of you, what I felt, and I'm telling you what I feel, that I felt a slight disappointment. And then I had to check myself, because I don't want people doing that to me, putting me in a box and then be like, I'm done with you, just because they expected me to function and think a certain way. It doesn't work like that. So the question is not about Caitlyn and what she believes. It comes down to, are we mature enough to respect people, even if we don't agree with them, where they are, and recognize that they have the right to be there? And it's a journey. That's all I got to say. So yeah, I'm still saying go Fever, go Caitlyn. I don't know what she believes. And again, she did not flinch. She gave the answer she wanted to give. And that's it. They wanted more, but they didn't get it. And it's natural to want to know more, especially when you admire people. But anyway, let's be mature enough to say, it is what it is, whatever it is. And I can cheer for them. And I'm going to be cheering for them on Friday when they take on the Aces, the only team they have not beaten yet this season. And they're going to have to do better than they did on Wednesday night. Come on, somebody. I asked, in my members, I asked the legends and the MVPs. I put a poll out to them and I said, will we win this game? So far, 100% of the people say yes. So we're going to find out. I'm planning to go live. I will not be up here. You see, I've been too lazy to go back downstairs, but I'm going to be downstairs I plan to go live for the game, as I often do. Have a memorial service earlier. If all goes as I plan, I will be back to do the game live. So jump on. And what I then plan to do is to, after the game ends, to do a separate live for those who are MVP and legend and GOATs. And so again, if you'd like to join, click that join button, see the options that are there. All right, so you asked, there you go. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.